consulted with the monitoring officer and the head of legal services, again looking at the high number of questions that were raised regarding our item, and I've agreed with them that responses will be provided in writing for all the questions that are raised. Hopefully they are able to come back to the committee or to the individuals who've raised those questions quickly within the next week or two, did you say? By the end of this week. So what will then happen is at the same time those responses are being provided to those individuals, responses will be provided to the committee as well. So what we will then do, and again open to the views of my colleagues within the committee, is that we will then consider, hopefully those responses satisfy. But if they do not, we will then consider any supplementary questions as well as any further commentary at the next Values and Ethics meeting, which we will be looking to have hopefully within the next month, sometime in October. Again, just due to the volume of the questions that have been raised, and so that we can give it the attention it deserves. So hopefully...
Sorry, Chair, I need to interrupt. Which rule are you relying on to skip the public forum questions? Because I've been reading the Constitution, and it says quite clearly that questions by members of the public may be asked of the Chair, questions will be asked in order that they're received, and questions may only be asked if clear working notice has been given. And my understanding is that everyone here asks questions in a timely manner. I understand there's a lot of questions to be answered, but the questions are meant to inform the debate that this committee has. And it doesn't seem obvious to me that it's the debate about the agenda items can actually go forward in an informed and legal manner without the questions being answered and the members of the public having the chance to ask supplementary questions before the agenda items are reached.
Yes, and that was what I was trying to explain before I hand over to the head of legal services or the monitoring officer in case they have any other comments. Because there was such a high volume of questions, we want to give it the attention it deserves.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. Which rule in the Bristol City Council Constitution are you relying on to skip public forum questions?
So, if I can just clarify, the questions can be asked of the chair or the executive member, but all of the questions, apart from one in fact, was actually asked of either the monitoring officer or myself as the head of legal service. So the chair has referred those questions to the monitoring officer and myself to respond to.
So that's not accurate. My questions were explicitly to the committee, or some of them were.
Well, so it was...
Which rule are you relying on to avoid public forum questions?
Yes. So would you give her a moment to respond as best as she can, and then we will then proceed with the meeting. Nancy, please finish. And then...
The questions are not questions that the chair would have been able to answer because they're directed to the monitoring officer ultimately. So I think or to the head of legal services. It's not a question that the committee are refusing to answer the questions. It's simply that in order to be able to properly answer all the questions that have been put, that written responses are given. I was going to say to the chair that one of the people who submitted questions, I don't think is present today, has said yes, they understand why that decision has been taken, but would it be possible for, once written responses have been received, for written supplementary questions to be put, and I advise the chair that that is in his discretion to say whether that's appropriate or not. And I think the chair is minded to agree that once you have received written responses to your questions, you can then submit written supplementary questions which will then be responded to. And it's a matter for this committee to decide whether they have sufficient information to be able to consider the report today and make a decision, or whether they wish to defer that until they receive written responses.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question, and I'm going to quote from my question. Number one, my question is: does this committee agree that the process could be improved by adding those pieces of information to the summary of complaints report? That's clearly a question for the committee, not for the monitoring officer. And I ask again, what rule are you relying on to delay the public forum questions? Because there needs to be a rule that you invoke. It doesn't appear to be legal to just say you're not taking public forum questions.
No, we haven't said that. Let's go.
Chair, may I answer the question? Because
Yeah.
there is a committee rule that you can rely on here,
Okay.
which is in committee procedure rule 10. It's motions without notice. The following motions may be moved without notice. And subletter M is to suspend a particular committee procedure rule, and that would enable you to suspend the rules relating to questions in committee procedure rule 9 and to deal with the matter in the way that you've outlined. And I suggest that a motion is formally put to the meeting in that regard to ensure that we are complying with our own internal rules.
So, hopefully that helps.
No, sorry. So you're putting that motion to the committee, so it needs to be voted on?
Any views from the other councillors? Yes, can we put that motion to Councillor Dyer?
Chair, I have to be honest, I'm not comfortable with us proceeding with agenda item number 6 if we had the opportunity to hear the responses to the questions.
Thank you.
I'm aware that we have a meeting scheduled for the beginning of October.
Yeah.
My preference would be that we defer agenda item number 6 until that meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Dyer?
Traces back what Tony just said there.
Yeah.
It's not good that the public can come along and they can ask their questions. I understand
Yes.
the volume of questions were overloading. It would have been good if we could have attempted to answer some of those questions.
Okay.
But given the scenario we faced, I think probably putting that report to next committee plus all the public business, including those questions, to that meeting would probably be the fairest way to proceed. It's not a great way to proceed because the public are here to address us. And I think perhaps if members of the public are here, we should still give them a few minutes to address us if they wish.
Okay.
But because people are taking their time to come to us.
Yes.
But I think that would be the fairest way to proceed. I think Tim's interpretation of the Constitution was perfectly legal, but probably not good politics,
Yeah.
I would say. It's not good to use a clause, and I would rather actually we adjourn all of that agenda item plus the public business to the next meeting.
Thank you. And I totally agree with you, councillors, but let's hear what everyone has.
So I think, Councillor Dyer's proposal is a really good one. I was going to say similar to Tim, it would be good with the members of the public who made the effort to come here and they might not be able to come to the next meeting. It's right that we consider the items properly at the next meeting, but I'd like them to get the opportunity to speak now with them, to at least speak to their question in a time scale allotted in case they are not able to come at the next time. It might be a little bit out of the norm, but it feels right to give them that opportunity.
Thank you. Councillor
Yes,
Lee, on this one.
Completely agree with the comments that you made.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, councillors, for all your comments. I think at the beginning of the meeting, before the gentleman raised his question, I was trying to separate the meeting into two parts. So address the matter regarding questions that have been submitted, which we require more time to provide response to, and then maybe allow people present to speak to their statements, for those who have made statements, and then maybe take any other extra questions. So hopefully that satisfies in that.
Yeah, I don't have a statement. my personal preference would be to have the written answers at the next meeting so that I can see the details and then have the supplementary without taking up the committee's time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Chair, can I just point out, there is some public business about agenda item 7.
Yeah.
So there's 2 questions there. And agenda item 7, member code of conduct.
So we're on agenda item 6, I believe.
Yes, there are questions, not just for item 6, there are questions on 7 as well.
Okay, and those will be provided as part of your response, wouldn't it? Yes. But we're still on agenda item 6. I think let's...
Charles, I think the point that Nancy and Tim are making is that we are in a similar situation with agenda item 7 as we are with agenda item 6. Where questions to be asked and members of the public have not been provided with written responses.
Yeah.
I understand the difficulties and there were a lot of questions coming in, but we do have to be seen to be we are elected on behalf of the members of the public, and part of that is in order to respond. And all through the monitoring officer is completely correct in the technicalities. We also there's also a perception of us being seen to be fair. We have set a limit for when questions have to be in by.
Yeah.
As far as I understand, there are no limits on the number of questions that can be answered by any one individual, unlike some other committees. And as far as I'm aware, all the questions were submitted in time.
Yeah.
So I don't think if I'm completely bluntly and honest about this, I don't think we can proceed with any of the agenda items on this meeting because both 6 and 7 are affected by the questions.
Okay.
Agenda item number 8 we may be able to proceed with. But it may well be that those 6 and 7 will have to be referred to the next meeting.
Altogether, questions and statements is what you're suggesting.
Yes, I think members of the public being asked to make statements or ask questions to items that we're not then going to review is probably unfair on the members of the public. And I appreciate that they have made the time and the effort to attend this meeting today, but I think they made the time and effort to attend this meeting on the understanding that they were going to get responses to their questions today.
Okay. Sure.